All righty, here we are again, another Saturday afternoon. Harmony 311S5 is back with its weekly webinar. This week, we're going to be looking at time and task management, which is probably something that a lot of people struggle with. Trying to run a business. Jay Scott's raising his hand.
It's like, yep.
So a lot of people, they're running a business, they're working full-time in a lot of cases, and they're taking care of the needs of the family at the same time. So you got multiple things going on at one time, and all of those things require your attention.
Yep.
Each one of them. You can't take one and set it to the side and hope that everything comes out okay and with that one particular thing. That's not how life works. With our lives, we have to be hands-on in every area of our life. So now we introduce another component into our lives. It's running a business. And can that complicate things in some cases? Yeah. Because you don't know, it's a swim or sink thing in a lot of cases. Either you swim through it or you sink. And really, you don't have a whole lot of alternatives, do you?
No.
Yeah.
No. And most people get started in business because of time management issues.
Yeah.
You know, they want to create more freedom in their lives. But adding it on at first requires some priority management.
Yes, it does. So prioritizing things does not always come easy because everything, Oslock, seems like it's priority one. And so knowing that everything can't be priority one, now it comes to a decision where what is priority one? What are the priority 2s, 3s, and 4s now? Okay. And then even when you set priorities, even when you set goals, even when you define the tasks that you want to accomplish, something's going to come along and throw that all out of whack. So you find yourself constantly redefining those things, your goals, redefining your goals, resetting tasks, things along that, redoing your priority structures. And when you're first starting out, because this is new territory, you going into business for yourself, because it's new territory, then you have the issue of how do I integrate this new territory into the existing territory? What do I do? So what are some of the things, Jay, because you mentioned you wanted to talk about this issue because you were having a challenge with this. What are some of the challenges that you've experienced with time and task management or priority management?
Oh, where do I begin? Well, I mean, you know, just to give you a little background, I've been online for 5 years. I really haven't done anything to make money. I've got into a few opportunities. And my thing was, when you get into something, you've got to go back, you got to go through the back office, you got to know what's going on, you got to set up autoresponders, and you got to do this and that. But then you come home and the kids are going, what's for dinner? Or the dogs need to be fed. Or can you go to the store and pick up a gallon of milk? You know, so of course you're going to take care of that first. And then I'm trying to prioritize everything. So I do that before I get home because I know somebody's going to be asking me, hey, you know, what's for dinner? So I go to the store after I get off work and come home. And by then it's 8 o'clock and then I try and get on the computer or go into the opportunity that I'm working on and learn more about it, and maybe make a couple of posts on Facebook and in the groups that I'm in. But I don't know how to, I don't know, I guess I need to know what's more important. Of course, family is important. I know family is number one. And I try and do that. But then I get sat down and, okay, where do I go now? Where do I start now? What do I do now?
Hello, Darren, how are you?
Good.
We've all struggled with that. I remember when I first started 2.5 years ago now, and I was still working. And it, like you said, Jay, after work is I have this, and this to take care of. And all the while you're thinking about, what do I need to do in my business? That thought is ever present along with the other things. Then you look up at the clock and it's 8:30. It's like, wow, only have, X amount of hours to really dedicate to my business now, because I can't stay up late because I got to get up and go to work in the morning.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly.
So what do you do? Here's the solution that I found, Jay, for me, is I would get yourself a little planner. I got myself a little planner. And I would task out the things that I needed to take care of. Because I know I only have so many hours to work in my business. Yeah, a lot of times I find myself up at 1 o'clock in the morning having to get up and go to work the next day, okay? Because I'm trying to get everything in that I can. I know that I need to create a sales funnel. I know that. I know that I need to do a landing page. I know that. I know that this is going to be something that I'm not going to get it created all at one sitting, okay? I'm going to be coming back and I'm going to be revisiting these things in consecutive days. I know that. Piece at a time, a piece at a time, and a piece at a time. When you look at your business, let's say you're bringing something new into your business, you have a pretty good idea of the things that need to be done to get that up and running, to get that thing up and running. What are those things? Hey, let's task that out over a period of time so I'm not feeling like I'm under the gun. I'm not feeling I'm not feeling like, hey, it's always crunch time. It's always 11th hour, okay? Because you get yourself frustrated when you try to compress a whole lot of things into this little bitty box of time that you have on a daily basis, okay? Don't worry about having to get it done and complete in a certain amount of time. Just know that you have to get it done. If it takes tasking whatever that item is, if it takes tasking that out over multiple days, so be it. So be it, okay? Because, hey, life is going to happen. I cannot stop life from happening. I just can't. Family first. Family first. And then the other things behind it. Yeah, I know that one of the reasons that you're in business is because you want to enhance your family's lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah. But to be able to do that, man, I gotta keep myself cognizant of the things that need to be taken care of, and I have to keep myself from being overwhelmed by all of the things that are standing out for present before me. So when it comes to my business, it's like, what things do I absolutely need to take care of immediately? And when I say immediate, I'm not talking about getting it done in the next, 2 or 3 hours. It may take you several days to get it done. But these are the things that are standing before me that I need to take care of in my business right now. Right now. See, it doesn't make any sense to buy traffic for something and you don't have everything set up yet to accept the traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
So the traffic thing may be like priority 3 or 4, and your capture page priority 1. Connecting everything up to your autoresponder, that is a task right there, because you have to think about things like, and Renee can go with me on this one, and Osla can too, and there you have to think about, how do I want my sales funnel to flow? So while I'm thinking about how I want my sales funnel to flow, there's some things I need to implement in that. So those are tasks, again, that come aboard that have to be taken care of. Does that make sense, Jay?
Yeah, it does. And, you know, I got to say that since I've been involved in the space pretty much that Renee is involved in, and she has become and I don't want to say a crutch, but I mean, she's given me
a conduit,
more motivation than anybody that I've been in contact with since starting. I contacted her and said, hey, be my accountability partner. She said, yep, no problem. And I think that's one of the major reasons that I've gotten farther than I've ever gotten before, is because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I got to get this done, because next time me and Renee talk, she's going to ask me about it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to look like a dope. But it had, I mean, when we were doing the funnel and there were some changes that I had to make, she sent me a message, said, hey, you need to change this in your back office, and I know you know how to do it. So, mm-hmm. You know, and I'm thinking to myself, how do you know that? I've never done that before. And she kind of planned it out. She kind of gave me a roadmap, and she said, go into your system, go into your pages, look for your iCoin Pro. Sorry, I mentioned that, but anyway.
It's okay.
And she said, go in there and change the link. And so when I was in there, I was kind of going, wow, I don't know if I can. And so then I remembered how she told me to click on the bottom part of the picture, and everything populated on the left. And I went to my message and got the link, and I went in and I erased it. The first time I did it, I didn't regenerate it, or I didn't upgrade it. So when I went back to it, it had the same thing. And I went, whoa, wait, I did something wrong. But I knew I hit save, so I went back and hit save again after I redid it. And then when I redid it again and I clicked on it, it came up, and I just went, oh. Okay.
Now it's pounded time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So even though, like you said, you know, I get frustrated. I don't get frustrated. It's like if you haven't got your homework done for school and you wait till the very last minute to get it done, you have all this pressure behind you that mm-hmm. says, if you don't get this done, you're going to get a D. Mm-hmm. And you don't want a D, you want at least a B or a C. Well, an A would be good, but that didn't never happen for me. So the B and the C was good. So I guess it's just like you said, it's just putting stuff in perspective where this has to be done if you're going to use the funnel, because if you send it to people, they're not going to see it because it's not active. So you have to just kind of, I guess, do the right thing and do it when you can do it, I guess.
Yep. And you mentioned something really important, Jay, is number one things that can help you with that priority management is an accountability partner. And I highly recommend that if anyone watching this does not have an accountability partner, get one. Get one. It's important for both people. Or even if you have like several accountability partners. I actually have several accountability partners. But, you know, it's good to have that. The other thing that you talked about is that, you know, I planted a seed in you because I knew that we had gone over how to do those steps. But I even said to you, if you don't remember, go back to the setup in the system and that will show you how to do it. And the reason why I did that and didn't say, here's how to do it again, is because I preach this all the time. I want people who are self-sufficient. It might have taken you a few times to do it, but you know what? You did it. Okay.
Yeah.
You did not use me as the crutch. Okay.
Right.
In the very beginning, when you don't know anything, absolutely you need someone to help and guide you, give you that blueprint and do that. But when I know that you've done something, and even if you don't remember how to do it, you can go find how to do it. I'm going to say, go, here's where it is, go get it. I know you know how to do it. That whole process of you doing that is going to make it easier for you the next time you do it. The more you actually do it, the better. Now, I know that's a little off topic, but what it is, but it isn't. It indirectly saves you time in the future. Because if you keep having to rely on someone to do it for you always, you're always going to have less and less and less and less time to get other priorities done, because you're going to have to rely on other people. You're going to have to, oh, okay, what's Renee's schedule? What's Jay's schedule? What's Aslak's schedule? Because that person's going to always have to help you. No, okay? We're all in this for freedom. So that's going to free you up in the future. And you have to think for the future. You can't just think about the here and now. Yes, obviously we're all in the here and now, but you also have to develop that mindset that what I learn and might struggle through right now is going to save me time in the future. Okay. And that's where people who don't have a good mindset or are not in the right type of like-minded community to help them get through those things, that's where they just quit. They can't handle that. And they just don't want to move on. And I think that's why maybe in the past you haven't moved on, because you never really had, like, maybe an accountability partner. You never really had a feeling that you had that support. So you kind of felt like, okay, well, maybe I'm just floundering and maybe I don't want to move on right now. But now that you are in a space where you feel like, okay, you know, I can get through this. I know how to do this. I know I have help if I need it, but let me try to do it now. So that's going to save you. I mean, and again, it's indirect, it's directly, but maybe not directly related to that time management, that priority management. Because there's always, like Jay said, like Jay Dyson said, there's always going to be things in life that you got to take care of. Family is definitely always first. But the more you actually, you know, take the bull by the horns, that's going to free you up more time in the future. So
hey, David.
That's all I really wanted to say about that.
Hey, David, how are you?
Hi.
Hey, our topic today is time management. And the reason we have that topic is because I am really crappy at time management. So I asked them 2 weeks ago if we could talk about it. And they said, yes, let's do that, because there's probably a lot of people who are in that same situation with family and jobs and everything else that's going on. So that's what we're talking about. How to prioritize what you need to do as opposed to what you have to do. And, you know, we've been talking about, okay, family's first, and then once you get your family taken care of, oh, I've only got 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever left. So what am I going to do to work on my business, to expose myself, to make my posts, all that other stuff? And Renee was, you know, oh, look.
There you go. Start sharing.
That's not a planner.
You are really good at this, David, because you do work a full-time job.
David, they're talking about planners. That's a Post-it. That's not a planner.
There's other, and before David, there's something I used in a few years ago when I was really trying to figure out the time management, priority management thing. There's a software, it's an app called Todoist. I used that, and it really helped me to put things, okay, this is what I got to do. Like, you could do it on a paper and a pencil if you're not the techie kind of person or anything. You could do the same thing like Jay Dyson said. Get yourself a planner, post it like David said, get a notebook. I use the Todoist thing. I don't actually use that actual app anymore. I'm more like a notebook and paper person, you know.
Now that sticky thing, the sticky note, works for David.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice and quick, isn't it, David? You get a thought and you put it on a sticky.
But it's actually not that. The reason why I have this here right in front of me, because I'm at my desk and it's very, very short. It's 2 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the evening. Exactly what I need to do. No extra things. Every single day, those things are there. There's trading in the morning, trading in the evening, for example. And it's a routine that I have, and literally writing the exact amount of time. So 1 hour, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. And it's sort of a daily list, but it's very specific. So even if I don't get the rest of my things done, these are the things that I need to get done. So
and those things that you have on your sticky notes, if I don't get them done today, guess what? Move to tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just keep moving it forward. Okay? Because if I don't, then I'll forget that, hey, what was it that I wanted to do? Okay? And then you miss something. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there are things like maybe we already went past, I think, in the previous webinars about making a sales page, sending out an email every day. And these are kind of things that take time to build up and to just say, let's say, put in the work. But after that, you need a really specific, or I would say very key elements that you do on a day-to-day basis. And this is what I have. Added to that, I have my book where I go about, adding things. Or as Renee said, I have an app on my phone. If I think of something within the day while I'm traveling to work, while I'm at work, I just jot it down quickly so that I have an idea that when I go home, okay, I need to finish these things first, and then I can do that. So it's always an added task, and it brings value on a day-to-day basis because I don't plan it, but at the same time, I know that it is going to happen that day. And if I, as Jay said, if I don't do it today, I do it tomorrow. But it's there. So yeah.
And then you get a sense of accomplishment as you check these things off. Hey, okay, that's accomplished. That's accomplished. So now you get that feeling of having moved forward. Okay? And you're accomplishing things. When we go into business for ourselves, there's a whole lot that we don't know. And Jay Scott, you touched on this. That training and that education, there's a curve to that. Sometimes the curve is pretty flat and sometimes it's pretty steep. Okay? So whatever format that curve is, that's something that we have to integrate into our day now. Okay? Hey, I got to go and listen to this webinar. I have to go into the back office and get my training. There's going to be a mastermind on May 8th of this month. I want to attend that. Let me put that on my calendar. Okay? I know that this mastermind is probably going to last an hour to an hour and a half, right, Asla? Because masterminds are not like 15 minutes long.
It can be long.
Yeah, they can be quite long. So I know now, okay, on May 8th, whenever May 8th is this year, it's probably Tuesday or Wednesday, somewhere around there. If you have a mastermind on May 8th, let me put it on my calendar, okay? It's at what time? It's going to be 9 o'clock Eastern, okay? And, okay, so now I know that, hey, this block of time is like on calendars, is that your busy time or your free time? Hey, that's my busy time to take care of this particular issue. And then the things that you get out of the mastermind, whatever that training is, it's like, okay, I need to implement that. So now that's a task. That's a task. So I look at my calendar of tasks or my to-do list or my sticky notes or whatever it is I'm using, and I got to insert that in there somewhere. I think what happens, Jay, is we look at the things that need to be done and we try to hurry ourselves in doing them, okay? And we really don't have to hurry ourselves. it's not something that if I don't do it, everything's going to fall apart.
Yeah, that's where I was before. Like I said, getting involved in this group and hooking up with Renee. And I mean, I've known Renee for a little while, really haven't done anything. I met her in Vegas at another event and really kind of, you know, I was watching what she was doing. And then one day I connected with her about what do you use for screen share? And she told me Jing. And I went in and got it. And I asked her if she had it. She said, no, I haven't done that yet. You're way ahead of me. But as time progressed and I got more involved, and she gave me the videos to watch that I've been watching and the reading list to read. And, you know, that's another thing too. You got to make time for that because I feel terrible. I haven't done that in about a week, and it's like something's missing. So I make sure I listen to whatever I'm going to be doing on, even if you're in your vehicle, there are things that you can do instead of listening to the radio, instead of listening to your favorite CD. If you've got availability on a smartphone, you can hook up to your Bluetooth and listen to it while you're going to work.
Right.
Whether it's an hour or 20 minutes or whatever, because you can always turn it off, and when you go back there, it's right where you left off at. So,
yeah.
Now, does that make sense for a lot of people? I don't know, but that's what I've been doing, and that has really, again, I can't thank you guys enough for doing what you do on a weekly basis, and I'm so glad that I've found this group. I've never been active in a group before, but you've changed everything for me as far as the advice that I take, because I know everybody here is successful, and I'm not successful as opposed to monetary success, but I am getting more successful in my mindset, how I listen to people, how I talk to people, and the things that I'm doing to make my business, which I'm hoping will alleviate me from having to go to my 9 to 5. I want to fire my boss is what I want to do.
It all starts with mindset. The mindset is the most important part of it, because success is 90% mindset and then 10% like the actions and stuff like that. So
and I've learned that's one of the things, that's the biggest thing that I've learned, is it's not a matter of knowing how to put a page together or draw or buy traffic or anything else. It's what do you think about to make yourself more successful, and that just carries over into what you're doing for, you know, I have no support. I don't want to be negative, but as far as me doing this online, my wife goes, you're in a Ponzi scheme. You're in a pyramid scheme. You don't know, all you're doing is making them money. You're not making yourself money. So I just kind of ignore her and carry on with what I need to do. So,
well, you have to believe in what it is you're doing.
Right, exactly.
You have to believe that what you're doing is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And that is a mindset shift right there. That believability that you bring in. And knowing that, hey, I'm going to get these distractions along the way. That's guaranteed. Comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I'm going to get those distractions. Am I strong enough in my beliefs to appreciate the distraction, but not let it distract me and take me away from what it is I want to do? Hey, I appreciate hey, wife, I appreciate how you feel. Hey, husband, I appreciate how you feel. Okay? But this is something that J. Scott believes in, because J. Scott has a vision. So you have the vision, Jay, of what it's going to look like when you get there. And when you get there, it's like, hey, man, I've arrived.
Yeah.
I've arrived. Now, what you're doing right now, everything that you're learning, everything that has been presented to you, Renee's worked with you side by side. All of those things, this time management thing that we're talking about right now, guess what? You're going to share that with someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
And help bring them along. Because what did we mention last week? Hey, we all have the same stories pretty much. So, hey, I'm pretty sure David had an issue with, hey, I need to manage my time here. I'm working, yeah, and I need to do better with my time management. Asla, you had the same issue. I need to be better with my time. I need to identify those things that really are time stealers and get them out of my life. And then use that time that was being stolen, use that time now to do something in my business. I had the same challenge, getting off work. It's like, okay, scratching my head, and it's like, what do I do today? Until I sat down and it's like, man, let's task it out. Let's plan it out. Mm-hmm. Like David said, when I get a thought, hey man, let's write it down somewhere. Renee, same thing. Been there, done that. Mm-hmm. Jay, the things that you're dealing with now, as far as time and task management and priority management go, we dealt with, and in some cases still do.
As life goes on, you have different things that happen in your life, and you have to restructure that priority management and task management. And the important thing for you to know and understand is only you know what's best for you. Okay, we can give you these ideas and resources and things like that, but if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. You know what I mean? You really have to, you might have to fumble through some things first. Mm-hmm. Realize, okay, this is not the task organizer that, I thought it was going to be. I got to try something else, or something different happens in your life. You have a new responsibility, or, maybe you have less of a responsibility and you can devote more time to other things. Things are constantly moving like that. But you are the one, through your own trials and your successes, that figures out that.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, you take all of the things that you've defined as negatives, and you look at those, and you say, "What did I learn from that?" When my boys were growing up, I would tell them, "You know what? Everything that seems like a challenge or something negative, if you really look at it deeply enough, you can pull a positive out of the negative. You can pull a positive out of it. And that positive is, what did you learn from the negative? What did you learn about what not to do in the next circumstance that comes along that's similar to this negative event? What did you learn from that? My son got into a situation, and his conclusion was, hey, I need a new set of friends. Okay? That was his conclusion.
Yep.
Based on all the negative things that happened, in that event, he says, hey, man, I need to get myself a new set of friends. Because this set I'm kicking it with now, man, they're just going to, cause me more problems. Okay? Yeah, big negative event, but what did you learn from that? Okay? David must have come to a point. It's like, man, I'll use the sticky note system, okay? Because that works for David Pinto. That works for him. Me, I like the planner thing, okay? Oslock, scratch it on a piece of paper, okay? Whatever you use, it's there to inform you and keep you on track. Because we can get off track so easily.
Oh, yeah.
We can take ourselves off track, and we can let other people and events in our lives take us off track also.
And the other thing, too, Jay, that you guys have always talked about is it's not a race. There's no time limit, but, you have all these people that, again, I don't want to be negative, but I have people around me that are, they'll ask me what I'm doing, or I'll mention what I'm doing with something, and they'll say, oh, you're doing that. Oh, well, and I just kind of, I look at them and think, if you knew what you was talking about, I would listen to you. But since you're not willing to go get the information yourself and do some Google searching or whatever, then I don't know what to tell you. It's not my fault. Don't blame me.
You know, if you sit and work, for example, on a web page, and people ask, why do you do that? Just say, because I think it's fun. I want to learn this. I want to learn how to make a fancy web page because that's something I've been thinking about for years. Just say that. And that is probably enough to keep them down. And you don't need to talk about that it's marketing and all that stuff. Make a page when it's ready. And, you have maybe some content there. Then you can show it to them. Look what I have done. This is created by me.
Yeah.
And that
that's
just
true.
shows your passion. You should always follow your passion. If you like doing something, you shouldn't, nobody can take that away from you. No one can tell you, well, they can, but they're, well, they can say, well, that's a stupid thing to like. They can say that, but you know what? That's their opinion, and it doesn't have to affect the fact that you might like making web pages, or you might like a certain thing to do. You should always follow what makes you happy, because that's going to motivate you to do more of it. That's going to get you the results.
And honestly, it also brings you a set of skills that you can translate to anything. It doesn't have to be in a lot of the times I work for a website. So my full-time job is for a website. And the similarities to what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis when I come home and my actual job is so close. So if one of the, however big the company is, doesn't really matter. They're in the real world, let's say, and then you're doing this, your skill sets are still valuable there. And so most of the times, everything that I'm doing here, I'm translating it in a different way related to the work that I need to do, but it's something that I've learned online. If I did not have it, I would not be able to succeed at my job, for example. So it is transferable if you just, as Jay said also, you turn a negative to a positive. It's the same thing. You just find the right skill sets to translate into, or transfer rather, into something that is there currently in your life. And the same thing with time management, honestly.
There's so many things that we learn in life, from the time from when we can first remember, learning things up to this point in time today. We've developed skill sets over time. Some skill sets that we may not even recognize that we have. They come roaring to the front. And it's like, wow, I never knew that, I knew that, or I could use that particular skill set in my business. We're as long as we live, we're constantly in discovery mode. Okay. And we're always discovering things about ourselves. We're always discovering those things that we did not know that we had, but were there all the time, those different skill sets. David, you said something that made me think about that. The things that I do on my job, time management is one of those things that you do every day on your job. Every day. Whether we realize it or not, Oslot. Oslot, when you're in that truck, you know that you have a certain amount of time to get all your deliveries done.
Yeah.
Right? So you're planning out your day. You're not going to anyone to talk about it. It's just something that it's an intrinsic value thing. Okay. You just intuitively know it. Why not take those things that you've learned in your job, transition them over into your business? It's really no different. Time management on your job is time management in your business. It's really no different.
Absolutely.
There's an exercise that, strangely enough, a month ago exactly, I did a keynote from a company that we had an event basically. And one of the other speakers was talking about time management. So I just casually went for, the session. And one of the things that really interested me and helped me a lot was she asked us to specify or write down exactly the things that we desire, that we want to do during the 24 hours of the day, and what we actually do. And now, what we actually do, how much time are we wasting? So instead of saying how much time we are managing, how much time are we, like, a thing that is unnecessary, you don't need it. How much time are you saving if you take that away and actually do something that you want to desire? So you're comparing something that is reality for you and something that you wish you would have your day, or your perfect day, let's say. And then you start to eliminate it slowly. You may not reach it to perfection, but it's at least starts to eliminate, and you start to get more in order. And that helped me. It came at a crucial time where I was honestly in the midst of building my funnel, and I had a lot of chaos that was going on, what videos to do when, and it really helped me just plan every single moment and how to do things. So it's just a thought that I think makes much sense to put out here. If you want a tip, let's say in how to figure it out for yourself, obviously it then becomes personal, and it should be personalized for everyone. So yeah.
If I only have, at the end of my day, if I only have 3 hours available to me, then how do I make the best use of that 3 hours? What do I plug into that 3 hours? So now I look at the things that have to be done over the things that would be nice to get done, okay? And those things that have to get done, now I got to position them in a priority system so I can take care of those things in that 3 hour period. If I don't get those things taken care of in that 3 hour period, so be it. Nothing to stress out over. Because I got another day coming at me. Unless the world ends and we go into apocalypse, I got another day coming at me. Okay? So, you know, there's no need to feel as though I have to get everything done in a certain amount of time. Because, hey, I'm limited in the time that I have during the day. I'm only going to get 24 hours, okay?
Right.
9 of those are going to be dedicated to working, okay? And then I have some time I need to dedicate to sleep because I got to take care of myself, okay? Got to take care of myself. So, and then again, the family issues that come about. So I know I'm only going to have so many hours to take care of my business. You know, since I've been retired, Jay, I retired, and I thought that, hey, I'm going to have all this time available to me now. You know, I had to repurpose my day. You know why I had to do that? Because now that time that was dedicated to working, that's free time now, and it's like I wanted to do something else with that time now, you know, something not related to business. So I really had to stop and think about that, David, because now I got all this time here, Darren, and it's like, what do I do that's purposeful with all this time that I have on my hands now? It wasn't as easy as I thought at first. It wasn't as easy. Because now I got 9 to 12 hours that have been freed up because I'm retired that I have to do something with. And I was looking at it as, hey man, this is like playtime. No, it's not playtime. I need to do something more constructive than use it as playtime. Darren, you had a thought.
Yeah, I was just going to say, first of all, I apologize. My computer technical problems cut out, so that's why I disappeared for a while. But anyway, one of the things that I try to do when I feel overwhelmed with time and I still have that burning desire to want to be successful in my business is I try to implement what I call the 1% rule. And for me, what that means is I want to try to do at least one little thing for my business. If I can't dedicate the full 3 hours or 4 hours, or my day's getting away from me, before I go to bed, I'm going to write one email, or I'm going to, plot out, even if I don't shoot a video, I'm going to write out what I would like to say in a video and put that on my desk, and maybe tomorrow shoot that video. Mm-hmm. Or just do one thing for your business, because what that does is that keeps the fire burning and it keeps you motivated, and it puts it on your mind so that you don't, like David was saying, you don't waste time. When you find that you actually do have the time, you remember, oh, yesterday I made that list about making that video. And you start throughout your day, even when you're working, you start thinking about that video and how it's going to play out and what you're going to say. And then when you get that free moment, you're more likely to sit down and go ahead and do it. It kind of reminds me, I was watching The Pursuit of Happiness the other day, and Will Smith's character, he was saying that, Chris Gardner, I believe his name was, but he was saying that, he was so committed to being successful and with this internship that he would actually not drink. I'm not advocating this, but he would say that he would not drink water because he knew if he drank water, he would lose 12 minutes throughout his day using the bathroom when he was making phone calls and, following up with his lead. That's an extreme example of saving time, but the point is very poignant. It's like, okay, if you really want this to happen for yourself, sometimes you got to get really creative with taking some time. Like James, you kind of mentioned maybe going to bed. I think it was you that said at 1 o'clock when you had to go to work the next day. That's like something that you could do where you would maybe take a piece of time away from your sleeping to work, to invest it in your business. It's kind of like the 1% rule that I was saying. But yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to at least do one small thing to keep that fire going, so that when I do have that block of time available, excuse me, then I'll be more likely to take advantage of it and not waste it.
Yeah. I think it's really important for you to write down everything that, if it comes to mind, man, write it down. And then you can always go back and look at it at a later time, and that will help you to, again, stay on track. If we don't write it down, what are we going to do? We're going to forget. Something's going to come along and it's like, what was that I was thinking about, before? And for the life of you, you can't remember what that was. No matter how hard you try, you can't remember what that was, but you knew it was something important, but you didn't write it down, didn't jot it down. So to write these things down, man, it just keeps things in front of you. Yeah, it just keeps it in front of you. And I'm pretty sure every time Mr. Pinto sits down at his computer and he looks at his stickies taped to his monitor, and it's like, oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah. This is one of the things I wanted to do. Hey, I got time to do that now. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of. Get it checked off.
And when you have a daily checklist like that, it makes it a lot easier because you don't have to spend time thinking, oh, what do I have to do today? Okay. Right. It's always there. Those key things that you do every single day. Once you start doing them, you know what they are. You don't have to take time to think about it. And more likely you're going to get more things done in your day when you do that. And if you need checklists and things like that, we have those resources in our Facebook strategy group. So you can literally go in and find the checklists. I think I actually gave you one, Jay Scott. I think I actually gave you a checklist of things to get started with. The priority kinds of things to do.
Yeah, you did. And that is in the file section in the back of 311S5. So. Mm-hmm.
Yep. See,
and that's the other thing too. When you get involved with an opportunity or you want to progress, I think that's probably one of the downfalls that I had was I would get in a program, but I never went into the back office and went through the files to see what was available to me. And so now I'm more apt to do that just because I've done it. And I know that if I don't, if somebody else comes along and says, hey, what do I need to do? I can revert them back to, okay, you're in this group, go to the file section and go through the files and use what you can use. And if you don't understand something, then reach out and we can go through it.
Yep.
That is probably one of the biggest areas for people failing in a business is they won't take the time to go into the back office. Yeah, finding out of the back office. Yeah, Renee touched on it earlier. You'd rather wait for someone to come along and hold you by the hand and take you through, which is a waste of time because, again, like Renee said, I don't know what that other person's schedule is and how quick they can get back with me on that. So I'll sit and wait until they get back with me. Hey, it's in the back office. Have you gone through the back office? No. Well, it's in the back office. Hey, that material that I sent you addresses that. Have you looked at the material? No. You know, it's amazing that we as human beings can spend our time waiting on someone else to come along and push us forward instead of pushing ourselves. It is not my duty and responsibility to go into the back office and take you through the back office. It's your duty and responsibility to go there. Know what's there. Know what resources are available to you. And a lot of times you get your question answered. And guess what? That learning curve that was, you know, rising, now it gets more horizontal. As you go in and you educate yourself, it gets more horizontal than vertical. Because if we're on a vertical learning curve, man, that's just taking up a whole bunch of time.
One of the things that I learned personally, just from experience, is when I had people asking me questions, I would respond immediately if I could. And that was not always a good thing, because the longer I took to respond, that person figured it out. And, you know, they didn't really need me per se, maybe for something else, but that is one of the, and again, that saved me so much more time for myself, because when I hadn't figured that out yet, I was spending a lot of time with people when they could have actually found that information on their own. And that was a huge aha moment for me, as someone who is stepping into that leadership role, is that, you know, you don't have to respond immediately. Now, I'm not saying ignore people, okay? There's a difference between that. But if you know that they can find that answer on their own, you don't necessarily have to respond to them immediately. Or if you can say a quick, that's in your back office. You know, you don't have to spend that time with that. And again, that's another thing that you're going to figure out on your own as you come into that role. And as you do this more often, you're going to see what's going to work for you to save time.
Dear, you had something?
Yeah, one other thing that you also want to consider is, like, when you join programs, sometimes there can be a wealth of information back there, and it can feel overwhelming. And so sometimes that kind of stops you dead in your tracks, because you're looking at 5 different areas of marketing, and there's a class for each area or training for each area. Then maybe you're looking at another couple of pieces of content on traffic, you know, and you got YouTube and Facebook and solo ads and pay-per-click. And it just all, if you're new, it kind of feels like, well, I got to learn all of this. So one of the things that I try to tell, you know, people is just pick one thing and work towards mastering that one thing. And then only after you feel totally confident and like you can do it without even thinking about it, do you move on to another thing. Because what I find is like if you start reading about Facebook ads and then you start reading about YouTube or you start reading about solo ads, it's gonna all mesh in together and it's gonna feel overwhelming and you're just gonna it'll demotivate you. So when you're building your business, just concentrate on the one brick. Master the one brick before you move on to the second brick. Then it doesn't feel so overwhelming. I think it's like someone said, eating an elephant one bite at a time.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't want to stall yourself. And sometimes when we talk about time management, a lot of the reasons why people don't take action is they stall. And they stall because they feel like I'm never going to have time to learn Facebook and YouTube and solo ads and how to build an autoresponder and a capture page. I don't have that kind of time. Okay, fine. Today, we're just going to talk about a landing page. That's all you got to worry about for your business.
Right.
Consider your business built if you learn how to build a landing page. Okay, now you got that. Okay, now today we're going to talk about autoresponder and email follow-up. And then, you know, just baby steps. So that's just kind of what I wanted to point out.
Yeah, that analogy of eating an elephant one bite at a time is so appropriate in this business. There's so much that you can give yourself to do that you may not get it all done, okay? Or you give yourself all these things to do, Jay, and say, hey, I got to have this done by Friday. Today's Thursday. Yeah,
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. Sorry.
So, and then you put all of these limiting factors on it, okay, and it doesn't get done, and you do that enough to yourself, you get to a point where, like Darren said, hey, my motivation level just disappeared because I can't get all of this stuff done in the allotted time that you gave yourself to get it done. Don't do that to yourself. Don't be your own worst enemy in this thing. Take it slow. Take it slow. I always think of it like this, Jay. If the world ended tomorrow, it doesn't matter what I had on my task sheet.
Yeah.
Yep. Doesn't matter. Okay. As long as I keep living, as long as I wake up every day, I can get it done. You get it done. I just don't need to put myself in a position where I feel as though I have to get it done now. Okay? Because guess what? I'm not going to get it all done now. I'm just not. But I
had this feeling exactly when it just brought to mind the story that I keep repeating in one of the opportunities that we're in, that I was so scared of starting something, specifically trading cryptocurrency, and it just overwhelmed me, the thought of doing things, right? And getting into the skill set. And I literally had to put it and time manage it in order for me to start. And it's so up to that. And that's why I have written 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening. Even if I get just one trade, you know, that it's okay. And it's literally eating the elephant one piece at a time, because it's such a huge thing for me. And it scared me so much, I would have not done it. In fact, I didn't do it for 4 years because of it. And then I had to start. So, you know, that time management for me took the first step. And it does take a lot of yourself to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind to say yes. Because if you're not in the right frame of mind to say yes, then nothing's going to happen. You're going to keep saying, I want to do it, and you just sit down there and don't do it. So I needed to wait. I needed to let those 4 years go by in order for me to be ready to say yes then.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at right now, David, too. I'm in that same space along with Renee, and I see the results that everybody else is doing, and I keep thinking to myself, okay, you got to set time for this. You got to set time for this. You got to set time. You got to go in. You got to go through the modules. You got to see what the indicators are. You got to know how to use the tools. So I decided, we had a conversation, me and Renee, and she said, you need to focus on this. Get this going. That way you're going to start producing income that you can use to upgrade in the other things that I'm involved with Renee. So not that I'm ignoring everything else, but I know that this is my stepping stone to get across the river that I can go onward. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just I keep, and this group here is one of the reasons that's helped me get where I need to be, because I could see, just like the books say, you got to associate yourself with people who have what you want. You got to associate you with people who have done what you are going through. So when you have questions, you can say, this is where I'm stopped. And now I have 5 people to say, well, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I did. So whatever resonates with me, it's easier for me to work on that, because I don't have to go to Google. I don't have to go to YouTube. I don't have to, all the information's right here. This is it right here. Right here.
And the less you have those other distractions of Google, because it could take you time to find that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now that you know that, okay, where am I going to get my answers from? Okay, it's probably right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's why we have our community. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah. You know, if I say to myself, hey, I want to get modules 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 done today, and all I got was 6, 7, and 8. 9 and 10 aren't going anywhere. They'll be sitting there for me tomorrow. When I go back into my back office tomorrow, Jay, guess what? I'm going to see modules 9 and 10 sitting just waiting for me, waving at me. It's like, hey, I'm here. You ready? Okay. No big thing that I didn't get it done. No big thing whatsoever. Okay. I just put it on my task list for tomorrow. Modules 9 and 10.
That's what I need to start doing. I need to start. I mean, I try to remember stuff, and I use the same thing that David does if I'm out, especially if I'm grocery shopping. And it just came to me, okay, if you're grocery shopping, I have my smartphone and I put a list of what I need.
Right.
Well, I can do the same thing with my business. Okay, I need to go through module 1 today, go through module 2 today. I need to look at charts. I need to do what I need to do. And if I just keep doing that day after day, eventually I can't help but not succeed if I do that.
Right. So analogy. Tell me who has not done this. You're at home. You know you got to go to the grocery store. You know you need to get this, and this. Okay. You know that you don't want to go in and just walk around just shopping impromptu and just picking up stuff, right? Spending money that you really don't want to spend in the grocery store. So what do? You ever heard of a shopping list? You do a shopping list. Okay. I'm going to buy my milk, my bread, my eggs, cheese, whatever. And I'm going to stick to that. I'm not going to go and start buying cookies and potato chips and all. What's on my list? Hey, if we take the time to put together a shopping list, why don't we take the time to put together a task list in our business? Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Again, it goes back to what skill sets have you picked up along the way in your life? Let's transition those over into our business. Bring them into our business. That shopping list that we put together for going grocery shopping, hey, let's put together a shopping list, if you will, for our business on a daily basis and stick to that. And just work it. Hey, the military just does not wake up one morning and go to war. It's planned out, man. It's planned out. You know? If I don't plan it out, I'm going to have my soldiers out there with their rifles and no ammo. That's not going to work out right. Not going to work for me. Okay. If I'm doing this, I cannot do my business using the shotgun approach. I can't do my business by throwing stuff up against the wall to see what sticks. Okay? I have to be more focused than in running it. Jay, did this help?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Totally. Yeah.
Good. You have one of the best mentors, leaders, gurus, whatever you want to call her, sitting there in Renee Sullivan, my sensei. Okay?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You can see that she has not let you get off easy, has she?
No, she's not. You know, the nice thing about it too is I've had when I first got into this whole into the space, I had a mentor who promised me that he would get me to my first $5,000. That's what he said, in a month. And 2 months after I got involved, I couldn't get a hold of him on Skype. I would send him messages. He never responded. It's like, really?
Yeah.
So to have Renee, and you know, when I contact her, she tells me straight up. I told her, I said, let's be totally honest with each other all the time. If you can't do something, then you tell me. And 9 times out of 10, she says these. And I know to get back to the time frame, because she's up north and I'm down south, and there's a 3-hour difference. She'll tell me, okay, it's going to be 10 o'clock here, and it's going to be 6:30 at your place. So let's get on it. And I, you know, as far as value, I have never had anybody be willing to do that, which is awesome. And that's why I respect her so much, and don't want to let her down at all. And I know it's not just letting Renee down, but it's myself too. But she presents everything in a way that, you know, if there's anybody else out there that's looking for someone to follow, I would recommend follow Renee Sullivan. I would.
Good deal. Good deal.
I appreciate that, Jay.
That has to make you feel really good there, Sensei.
I'll remember that on a rough day. So thank you.
Aaron, you got anything you would like to close with? Got any thoughts?
No, I pretty much said everything that I could think of in regards to time management. I think that it's really important to have a place to come and discuss these things. And
Yeah.
I know sometimes psychologically we reach out to our mentors and our sponsors, and I don't think necessarily it's to get the answers to that basic question that they can easily find for themselves, but it's more to feel a connection. And I think that it's important to be available to your teammates, you know, obviously not necessarily holding their hands, but at the same time, just letting them know you're on the right track. And like you were saying, Renee, just sending a message. It's in your back office. Go through that afterwards. If you have questions, let's talk about what you read, or let's talk about what you saw. And because I don't know, for me, it just kind of feels like I think that sometimes people do that because if you're smart enough, I feel like if you're smart enough to go online and take the preliminary steps to start a business, you're smart enough to either go to Google or go to your back office and find the answers you're looking for. But I think people don't think that. They think, oh, I'll go to my sponsor and that'll show my sponsor that I'm engaged and I'm involved, and it'll make me feel good because my sponsor, who's on this high level, is responding to me. And I think people feed off of that. So, you know, I think there's the balance there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good points. Aslak, you got anything in closing?
No, only one thing Jay said earlier about having time to reading books or listening to books. If you have a problem with it, just you can have it in your car. Just volunteer to go to the shop and do the grocery and take the long.
Take a long way. Yeah.
David?
Honestly, nothing. I think I covered everything that I wanted to say. So.
And my sensei, you got anything?
No.
Okay.
Another good call.
I would like to talk about training next week. That's an issue that a lot of people overlook. You know, you can't morph yourself into this thing. Okay, it's not like the Vulcan mind meld you know, on Star Trek, you know. Training is so very important. If the training is there and people refuse to utilize it in a lot of cases. So I would like to talk about that next week.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Again, always look forward to these Saturday afternoon conferences every Saturday afternoon. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Jay,
thank you.
You took hope something of value came out of this for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good deal. Stick close to your mentor, Renee. There, she's.
Oh yeah, like glue. Unless she calls me and says, "Hey, I can't help you anymore. You need to stop calling me." I'm unfriending you on Facebook and I'm removing you from my group. Don't ever.
I don't think that's going to happen. You never know. No.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
All right, you guys have a wonderful Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your day, and as usual, have a wonderful week and a productive week. And we'll see you back here next Saturday.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.